Hi folks, so what we have in front of us here is the 2013 Road Geometry Ordinary Level question, and what we're going to do is we're going to read through the question and then we're going to complete it here. So it says here, it's in the section C of the paper, usually in the applied graphics section, and it's usually the first question as well. So it says C1, the accompanying map located on the back page of section A shows ground contours at 5 meter vertical intervals. So part A. On the drawing map supplied, okay, draw a vertical section profile along the line AB. Okay, so what we need to take from that there is the ground contours are 5 meter vertical intervals, and then on the drawing supplied, draw a vertical section profile, okay, on the line AB. So that's kind of the two things we're going to do there. Then for part B, it says the line CD is the centre line of a proposed level roadway which is at an altitude of 55 metres. Okay, using side slopes of 1 and 1 for both cuts and embankments, complete the earthworks on the northern side. Okay, so 1 and 1 for cuts and embankments. Right, we'll come back to that one. So first of all, we'll do a little bit of rough work. So what I would always do is, we know our scale here is 1:1000, and the distance between our contours and our sheet, you can see here 30 to 25 is 5 meters. So what we actually have to do is 1 millimeter on my sheet equates to 1000 millimeters in reality. Now what do we have to work up to make 5 meters? We know 1000 millimeters equals 1 meter, so to make 5 meters we multiply that by 5. So 5 times 1000 is 5000, which is millimeters, which is 5 meters, and 5 times 1, because if we multiply this we have to multiply this, so 5 times 1 is 5. Therefore 5 millimeters on my sheet equals 5000 millimeters in reality. So that's kind of my magic number there. Okay, that's what I'm going to use for my vertical section profile in part A. Okay, so I'll come back to this in a minute. So vertical section profile along the line AB, and just looking along the line, so I can see B is at 45, A is at 30, because it's where the contour lines pass through that profile line. So I'm just checking, so my lowest is 15 here, I can see 15 here, and my highest is at 50. Okay, so my lowest is 15, my highest is at 50. So I'm just going to send up B vertically. I'll also send up A. Now I'll do my measurements off of B, and I'm going to be measuring up in 5 millimeter increments. Okay, so I'm just going to mark up 5 millimeter increments here. So 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40. Right, so if my lowest is 15, usually what I like to do is I like to start one down and keep 15 here, but I just want to make sure I can fit it in. So if I start at 15 here, to go 15, 20, 30, 35, 40, 45, 50. Yeah, that's okay. So there's 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, 45, and finally 50. And 10 is down here at the bottom, okay, which we're not going to use because there's no 10 going along the vertical profile. So I'm going to send all of these across. So all of them now gone across. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to identify my points. So first of all, I'll identify A and B. A is at a height of 30, which is up here, and B is at a height of 45, which is here. So there's B, and there's A. Now I'm going to identify the rest. So this one's at 35, this one is also at 35, then we drop back down to 30, down to 25, down to 20, down to 15, 15 again, up to 20, 25, 30, and then we have 35, 40, 45 and 50. Okay, so just identify all of those. So just marking all of those now before I sketch them in. And what a vertical section profile roughly is essentially, it's like taking a slice through the mountain, okay? And this is kind of the slice that it reveals afterwards, okay? So we'll sketch that in quickly. So there we have it, folks. That there is part A done, where we have done the vertical section profile along the line AB, so I can tick that off. Now, part B, it says the line CD is the central line of a proposed roadway which has an altitude, or which is level, okay, a level roadway which is at an altitude of 55, okay. So what I would always identify it, and I would just say level from C to D at 55 meters. Okay, now what they tell us is complete the earthworks necessary on the northern side of the road, but using side slopes of 1:1 for both cuts and fills. Embankments, another word for that is fills. Okay, so essentially what that means is, for fills, where the road is higher than the land around it, we're going to fill, and then for cuts, where the road is lower than the land around it, we're going to cut away from the land. Okay, but we use on a 1:1 scale essentially. Okay, so essentially, if I was to kind of do a kind of a side view, if you imagine, okay, terrible car, but you get the idea. There's the car on the road, and in the case of where the land is around it, okay, that land is quite high, okay, and the rocks could fall down on top of the car. We're going to cut away in the shape of a triangle in the ratio of 1:1. So for every 1 meter I step out from the road, I'm going to move up 1 meter in height. Okay. If the land was lower than the road, what we're going to do is, for every 1 meter down, I'm also going to step out 1 meter, and so on. So watch this. If I step out another meter, then it's 1 down and an extra 1 out. So now we've gone 2 down and 2 out. Likewise, if we're going upwards, we have now gone 2 out and 2 up. Okay? And what we're doing is we're cutting away from the land here, whereas here we're filling the land in. Okay? But our ratio in both cases is 1:1. And what we're going to do is, for that triangle, because it's 1:1, it's going to be the same. So our cut and fill is 1:1. Okay? But all we do is we multiply the magic number by this. So for every 5 times 1 is 5, and 5 times 1 is 5. So for every 5 meters I step out from the road, I'm also going to go up or cut down 5 meters in height. Okay, so in this case it's up and down. Okay, whereas this one is the one that we're actually concerned with really, because in our plan view we can't see vertical heights, but we can see heights moving out from the side of the road. So we're going to be stepping out 5 meters from the side of the road. Okay, so now the next thing is we have to identify, okay, if the road is at 55 meters, so I always put 55 at the side of the road, here and here. If the road is at 55 meters, what I want to identify is the parts of the road where I'm going to cut and fill. So what I'm going to do is look at the land around it. So from here it's 55, but I'm going to look at my contours. So 60, 65, 70, 75, 70, 65, 60, 55. So there's a pinch point where the land is at the same height of the road. So in this section here, all the land is actually higher than the road, so that's all going to be a cut. Okay, so I'm just going to identify that as a cut section there. Now, 55, 50, looking all the way along here, every bit of this actually looks like it's going to be a fill, where the road is actually higher than the land around it. Okay, so fill here, cut here. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is when it's fill, I'll do the fill sections first, and I'm going to measure up from the side of the road in 5mm increments. Just make a little. When it's fill, we're actually going. You'll see here in a second now. It's going to make little marks there. I'm going to keep this quite neat and tidy. I'll actually step them out a little bit further. Okay, so where it's fill, where it's fill, what we're going to do is our numbers are going to go decrease away from the road. So it's going to go 55, 50, 45, 40, 35, 30, 25, 20, 15, and then 10. Even though I don't think it goes down as far as 10, but I'll just put it in. Okay, now at the other side of the road, where it's a cut, it's actually going to go up. So I'll measure up in 5s again, 55, 60, 65, 70. And we have a 75 as well actually, yeah. So I'll mark those out as well. So if this here is 55, then this one is 60, 65, 70, 75. Okay, didn't need the last one. Okay, so for cuts, you can actually see the numbers increase as they move away from the road. But I'm going to focus on the fills first. So sometimes I can actually do my lines the whole way across, guys, but because now we've got a fill section here and a cut section here, I'm going to try and keep it a little bit neater and tidier, okay? And I'm going to use these measurements over here as a guide. Right, so my first one here, guys, okay, so I'm going to go it all the way across. So I've got a 55 here, which is a pinpoint, and I'm going to start off by doing these across. So starting here, so I've got 31 here, it's not going to be affected, the 35 will be. So there's a point right there. Okay, my 35 contour is this line, there's a point right there. Same thing again, actually it's another 35 contour, so I've got another one here. And then we have a 31. Is there any other 30s? Yes, there is. Okay, so I've got two there. Now I've got a 25 contour. 25, got a 25 here. Okay, I assume the next one is a 20. Yeah. Then I have another 20, another 20 along the way, and I have two 15s, a 15 here and a 15 here. Okay, you can see them going down. So you can see starting to build here. I had a 35, 35, 30, 25, 20, 15, 15, 20, 25, 30. So I'm going back down now to 35. Okay, and I assume I'm onto the 40 then. Yeah, 40 here. Don't think of any other 40. No. Now I'm onto the 45. So I've got a 45 here. I've also got two of them here as well. Then I've got a 50. Okay, two 45s. I assume this one down here is a 50 as well. Yep. And there's our pinch point on the road. Okay, so you can see actually the contour. Okay, where it's actually filling up to the land. Now what we're going to do is we're going to identify the cut sections. Okay, so starting with, just looking here, so I have 55 is on the road, then we have 60. It's right there. Do I have any other 60? I have 60 up here, but that's not going to be affected by it. Okay, next one I have is a 65, which is I think there. Sorry, wrong one. It's this one. Then we have the 70, which is on this guy. There's the 70. Then finally the 75, which is on this guy. Okay, and looking here again, so I have 70 coming down. Then I've got 65 coming down there as well. Okay, so what I'll do now is with those points, I'm just going to sketch those in quickly. So there we have it, folks. That is the part B of the question done, where we've done the artworks necessary, so I'll take that one off as well. And as you can see, I just put in my contours, so you can see here, guys, when it was a fill, our contours, okay, were going down away from the road. When it was a cut, they were increasing as they moved away from the road, okay? And what you can actually identify then, okay, and you would lose marks for this, is by, you have to identify where it's a fill section and a cut section. And you do that by tadpoling, okay? Because when it's a fill, and you're filling up to the road, if you imagine a ball was here at the side of the road, it would roll down, okay, the hill. So when it's a fill, the ball will be at the side of the road and it rolls down the hill. Whereas when it's a cut, okay, the ball would be up here and it rolls down towards the road. So like it is here, cut, and it rolls towards the road. That's the way I like to describe it in class, okay? That is the 2013 road geometry question, guys. Hope you found that helpful.